Hope you're having a good Passover for those of you who celebrate. I want to listen to a little from my little phone here till I get on the bigger phone. I want to hear you what Pastor Dowell said about the Bible. And this was early on the Ringo stream. I'm going to play a little bit of his stream. I hope you don't mind. And I'm going to play a little of this other guy's stream. And I'll get back with you with my thoughts. But here's Ringo.
Have you read the Bible? The whole Bible, I said.
Pastor Dowell.
You know, some people will get started Genesis and read the whole Bible. Elder Kabir, how many times you've read the Bible? I think he said 3 or 4 times. And I've never ever read the whole entire Bible.
Top of the morning, RingoTV reactions. Back at you again with another one. Continuing on with our series, Dowell pretty much went back on YouTube and tried to, I guess, prove his point. But as I told you the other day, he fell in a trap. And I got him again. Now we gotta expose it. First thing first, we have to acknowledge is that we have a pastor here who never read the Bible. Now, I don't know about you, but when a man say, and remember, he's drunk. He's always drunk. He said, I never read the whole Bible. Once you hear that, and he's trying to justify his adultery and prove his point, you got to understand that any attempt is not good because he never read the whole Bible. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if a man never read the Bible, then anything he do, you got to question, because it's like, how could I take you serious if you've been a pastor for 30 years and you never read the book? I mean, there's a lot of confessions going on. And remember, this is the same pastor that ordained everybody at Straightway as pastors and ministers. You can't take none of that serious. You know? You can't. But to be fair and balanced, you know, not only did Pastor P. Dowell say he never read the Bible, but to my surprise, even Brother Rufus said he never read the Bible. Now, I'm not here to talk about Rufus, because he's not one that went out there talking about I've been a pastor for 30 years. But he did say that he also never read the Bible. I got to be fair and balanced. But think about this. A man that talks so much about the Word, you got to go to the Word, and he never read the book. He never read the Bible. 30 years, pastor, and never read the book. That's amazing, man. I don't see how can anybody follow somebody that claimed to be a pastor, a man of God, a man of the cloth, and never took the time to study, to show himself approved, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the truth. That's why I can't take pastors serious. Listen, anybody that identify as a pastor is false. Anybody. It's just a title. It's man-made.
Sell to millions of people online with Shopify's social media and marketplace integrations. You can sell your product.
It's just a title. It's man-made. Because if P. Diddy Dowell said he never read the Bible, how many other pastors never read the Bible? You just see them on a stage running their mouth, and you're wondering why they never open the book. Look, you're wondering why people never open the book. You ever look at these preachers when they're on stage? They never open the Bible. Now you know why. They'll quote a scripture here and there, but they never read the book. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through his recent video where he tried to cover his sins of adultery. If you're now joining in and you don't know what's going on, P. Diddy Dowell pretty much was caught in the act of adultery. He'd been covering his sins for many years. It resurfaced. The file was placed on my desk, and I was able to uncover the lies and the deception and manipulation. And we've made multiple live streams about this case. He's been ducking and hiding the truth. He have not come to the forefront to acknowledge that he's in adultery. It's almost as if though he's trying to make you be in adultery. When they're caught in sin, what they will do is manipulate you so that you can now go into sin as well. And also, let me say this for the record also, because I saw in my last stream, with one of the streams that I did, somebody was talking about I'm reading from a teleprompter. When you see me looking over here, I'm looking at another camera. We are streaming on 2 platforms, right? How could I be reading from a teleprompter and be fluid in my speech? I mean, some people are ridiculous. But anyway, we're streaming on the RingoTV Raw platform as well as the Reaction platform. So, that being said, let's get back to the tapes, do what we got to do. We got a lot of work to do. Peace and blessings, top of the morning, everybody. Let's get to work.
There are probably many, many passages in the scriptures I've never even read before in my life. Somebody said, what? Yeah, for real. So, if some of you have done chalked up an accomplishment like reading the Bible 7 times, where does that put you at in your life so far? There you go. Kabir said he's read the Bible 8 times. And he ain't learned nothing about it until he met the man of Yah.
So he read the Bible 8 times, but never learned anything till he met the man of Yah, who never read the Bible. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, imagine that. Kabir said that he read the Bible 8 times now, 8 times, but never learned anything till he met P. Diddy Dowell, who never read the Bible. Make that make sense, guys. Let's go.
You know why?
Notice how he's continually drinking. I mean, I don't understand how a man is teaching and he's drunk. Like, you can't take none of that stuff serious, guys. Seriously.
Right? So, y'all know we'll quote Jeremiah 3:15, right? And I will give you shepherds, pastor according to God's heart. He said, my heart.
But how he's going to give you pastors after his heart if they don't even read the book?
Right.
I don't get that. Like, how could you be a pastor after his own heart and publicly say that you never read the book? You know how crazy that sounds?
My heart. Elder Rufus said he never read the whole thing either. Now watch this. And they...
Right there on the screen, it says that Rufus says, me neither, shepherd. So I'm not making this up. Again, I'm being fair and balanced. So, hey, it is publicly known that even Rufus says he never read the Bible. So, now, what does that say? It goes back to what I said before about P. Diddy Dowell ordaining men as pastors. See, even though Rufus experienced what he's experienced with P. Diddy Dowell, I would never even wear the title pastor, because if it came from a man who's a cult leader, if it came from a man that did him dirty, if it came from a man that has never read the Bible, how could he ordain a person as a pastor? Come on now. I would just do what I do and dismiss any titles, because clearly it's not so. This man doesn't have the power to ordain anybody when he didn't even read the Bible. people get mad at me, fam, because all I'm doing is exposing the receipts. That's all I'm doing. All I'm doing is finding the tapes. I'm just finding where people said what they said, and these are their own words. I ain't make nothing up. Right? Let's go.
Shall feed you with what? Knowledge. So, because we do have a subject of a lot of, out in the world, it's always been a subject of divorce or remarriage. My only concern, don't worry about range, I ain't gonna do that. I'm moving on right now. So, my only concern, even though y'all know me, I don't mind giving out the truth, because even if you give out the truth when somebody has false teaching, false doctrine, they ain't gonna get it in. So I need for you, Israel, to know. Did y'all hear what I said? I need for you to know the truth. Because I can't get Gino. He loved talking tough, boy. But I can't get Gino, who opened up his mouth and said he ain't said nothing about his sister, has he? Or to the king. But I cannot get Gino to come out from behind the safety of his quarters.
I'm talking about Gino and safety of your quarters, man, when you're dealing with another man's wife. Now imagine how many weeks passed and we've been on this case with P. Diddy Dowell, and he literally been hiding in his shovel. Don't want to come up in public and acknowledge that he's in adultery. He took another man's wife, took another man's daughter, sold her for $100,000. Still haven't come into the public to acknowledge these things. Still haven't come into the public to say, well, I didn't do that.
Do for a living?
I'm a software engineer.
And how much money do you make per year doing this?
I make like $190,000.
How long have you been doing this for?
So I've actually been doing it for, well, I didn't do that. He's just literally making these little videos, acting as though he's teaching. Again, we're talking about a man that never read the Bible. He can't teach you nothing. Plain and simple. A man that never read the Bible cannot teach you nothing. Especially a pastor for 30 years. Come on now. 30 years? I mean, if you think about it, 66 books, 30 years, you couldn't read the whole Bible? I don't get it, fam. Something's wrong. But then again, not including the Apocrypha too, but that's more books. But my point is, for 30 years this man been a pastor. And because he's drunk, remember he's drunk, he got in the public and it slipped. Remember, when people normally be drunk, they say things they shouldn't be saying. Said, I never read the Bible. Well, if he never read the Bible, then how could we take a man serious? Let's get back to the tapes. Now, in this episode, he's trying to prove that it's okay to divorce and remarry. The reason why he's doing that is because he's in adultery. Again, when a man is in sin, he have to make you believe that it's okay to do the same thing. Because remember, if he's going to the lake of fire, he got to take other people with him. You understand? That's just the way things are. He got to take other people with him.
I'll tell you one thing though, I'm helping people stop their mouths from being so arrogant. We're actually going to talk about this subject from the New Testament perspective. And we're going to go back and get a little bit of the old. But I want you to all get your pens right now. Get your sheet of paper.
I mean, get your pens and your sheet of paper. You didn't even read the whole Bible. I mean, this man making it seem like he about to teach you some master class. He never read the book. That's crazy.
Get your phones and get ready to take notes. Alright? Because I'm only here to inform Israel. Alright? So there's a doctrine out in the world that says.
Now, he's about to talk about a doctrine. I don't care about this doctrine. I don't know about this doctrine. I don't teach this doctrine. And I got to make that publicly clear. What he's about to talk about is a doctrine that, for whatever reason, this is what he's saying. Has nothing to do with me. Do you understand? So we're going to listen to what he has to say. And I want you to understand that whatever he's saying in terms of a doctrine don't apply to me. Because I don't follow these Christian doctrines. I follow what the book says. That's it. Not what they say. Do you get it? Alright, let's get back to the tapes.
It's Jeff Lewis, live and relatable, allegedly.
Not on any meds whatsoever. Not what they say. Do you get it? Alright, let's get back to the tapes.
That if you get divorced, you cannot get remarried. If you get divorced, this is this doctrine. Okay, in Christianity. If you get divorced and your spouse, husband, wife, is still alive, you have to wait for them to pass on, die, before before you can remarry.
Now, notice what he just said. He said it's a false doctrine, right? Again, he said it's a false doctrine if you have to wait. Now, what does the Bible say about women that are bound to the law? Let me see if I can pull this up. I don't have everything organized, but let me see if I can get this verse. Okay. No, all right, we're reading from Romans chapter 7, verse 1 through 3. Now, he just said false doctrine, that you have to wait till the spouse is dead in order to be remarried. Now, again, this applies to women. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman. Now, he's not talking about a man, he's talking about a woman. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, and she be married to another man, if her husband live, and she be married to another man, if Eric Gonzalez live, and Nelly be married to P. Diddy Dowell, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. So my thing is, why is it that P. Diddy Dowell don't acknowledge this? Why is it that he hides in the shadows and act like this don't apply to his situation? It says, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. He talks all of this talk about the law, the law, the law. Well, the law just said what it said. So why he's not acknowledging that? Do you see that? This is a serious problem. Anyway, let's get back to the tapes.
Good timing. I was about to order our stuffed nachos. Yeah. I got a date.
Anyway, let's get back to the tapes.
That's this false doctrine. Even if your husband or wife goes out and lays or gets remarried 3 or 4 times, they still say that you have to wait on them because they're still living.
Now again, he's speaking on regards to whatever he heard from possibly Geno Jennings, possibly some other Christian preacher. Everything he's talking about have nothing to do with me. I'm just here to expose the devil. All I'm here is to refute everything that he says that he's trying to use to manipulate you, the viewer, into believing that he's not no adulterer, when clearly he's in sin. Let's go.
I need to know this stuff, but this stuff been out there for a long time. I used to deal with this stuff. Then we used to deal with stuff about that Mary Street Church of God when they got their doctrine. They got young men sitting up in their church now. Now, man, they in their 50s now, man. They got young men sitting up in their church right now, man, who was married to women. The women decided to go out, they got divorced their wives, decided to go out and whore around and everything else, and these men still sitting up in their church alone. And cannot get any reconciliation. Can you imagine living your whole life burning because of false doctrine? Y'all need to know the truth of what the word has to say.
Again, he's talking about what the word has to say, but he never read the Bible. Remember, he's telling you guys that you got to know what the words say, but this is coming from a man that said it publicly that, hey, I never read the Bible. And he's been a pastor for 30 plus years. Make it make sense, guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm just using their words against them. That's all I'm doing.
Because I expect for y'all to stand for the defense of the message. Because apparently this thing is running rampant out there. Not only, I've talked about this before. I'm going a little bit more in depth this time. Alright? But y'all really do need to know this. Is what they say, is it the truth? Is that the truth? Or is it a lie? I'm sure it's a lie because we know that once a woman gets divorced from a man, then she's free to marry. But
did you just hear him lie? He just lied, guys. He just said once a woman got free from a man, she's free to pretty much do what she want to do. What?
If she gets married, and that husband passes on or gives her a bill of divorce according to scripture, she cannot return to that person.
Now, think about what he's doing here, because there's something that he's doing here that a lot of people are not paying attention to. Now think about this. Let me try to break this thing down without the background music, right? We know that P. Diddy Dowell is hiding behind Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1 through 4, right? Which clearly the Messiah in the New Testament basically regulated the situation because men were wicked. They were putting women away for pretty much any cause. You get it? And they were literally getting rid of women that were faithful. We're talking about faithful wives. These men were getting rid of faithful wives, and for whatever reason, these women had no way to fend for themselves. So he's hiding behind those verses, right? But now I want you to think about this. He's basically saying that, okay, according to the book of Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4, if a man put a bill of divorce, right, in a woman's hands, now you got to think about what's going on here. Okay, you put it in her hand. She leaves because you kicked her out of your house. He's saying that she can go again and marry a new man. This is what P. Diddy Dowell is saying. Now that new guy decides, hey, I don't like her no more. I'm going to give her a bill of divorcement too. Right? He's saying that she cannot return to the previous guy. Let's erase the whole idea of returning to the previous guy. What he's essentially saying is that a woman have two options of getting married. Meaning she could get married 2 times. Right? Meaning the first husband can take her if he divorced her by giving her a bill of divorcement. And then she get with a new man. After that, she's pretty much defiled. Anybody else get with her is like an abomination. So now if we apply that in today's day, that would mean that all of you ladies, right, that got married, got a divorce, got with a new guy, then that relationship severed.
Get your free Thomas Sowell ebook, Trickle Down Theory and Tax Cuts for the Rich. Sold.
Got a divorce, got with a new guy, then that relationship severed, then basically you're an abomination. That means nobody could deal with you. So now, if we factor that into the situation with Eric Gonzalez, right? Mr. Gonzalez publicly talked about his relationship issues many, many times, and he talked about how he shared his personal business between him and his then wife, their transgressions, things that they did back in the day, which were not kosher, and for whatever reason, these things that they were doing involves his ex, I guess, messing around with somebody else. So, if that's the case, right? If Eric was married to Nelly and she messed around on him with another man, right? And then now she got with P. Diddy Dowell, what would that make the situation? That would mean that P. Diddy Dowell have an abomination. That would mean that the woman he's with is extremely defiled. Why? Because if she was with Eric and Eric allegedly forgave her and said, okay, cool, we can still work out our marriage and whatnot, then that's strike one. So now for her to give him a divorce and then get with P. Diddy Dowell, that totally annihilates those scriptures. Because that means that P. Diddy Dowell is with a woman who's been defiled multiple times. So you can't even be with her. This just kills your whole argument. And it's so interesting that nobody is paying attention to understand that. No one's paying attention. It's not about the woman going back to Eric, because Eric already made it clear he don't want her. So that's not what the argument is about. We're not here to say that Nelly needs to leave Diddy Dowell and go back to Eric. Eric already made it clear he don't want to deal with her no more because she's defiled. She's already defiled already. Who wants her at this point? The point of the matter is, Dowell is twisting the scriptures in order to make you look this way when you should be looking that way. You understand? He's trying to protect his own self from the trap that he fell in. Remember, Eric never filed for divorce. He never put a bill of divorcement in no one's hands. So how did this woman end up with Dowell? Because Eric never gave her a divorce. Eric never filed for divorce. When Eric and Nelly was going through what they were going through, he requested for his wife to come back to Florida. He requested that. She said, no, I had a dream that you were doing me dirty. I'm staying that straight way. The reason why she said that is because Dowell was already sleeping with her already. Proof proof of that is the fact that when we go back to all the videos we've done, we remember that Jamie was being accused of trying to talk to Nellie. Remember that? The whole time, Dowell was messing with her. So he'd been doing this. Then we have the testimony of the other brother who said he was staying at Dowell's house and he opened up the door and saw Nellie massaging P. Diddy Dowell's feet. And this was all before she got a divorce. So when you factor all of this together, Dowell was already sleeping with another man's wife already. And everybody at Straightway knows this. And if you go through all the different cult leaders that have came and went, all of them have been responsible for doing this very same thing. You have the head ninja, pastor, preacher, prophet, who's in charge, and he's sleeping with all the women. He's sleeping with all the women. I seen a video by another brother. I don't got his name, but it's Prince. It's Prince something. Right? I don't have his full username. If I remember the name, then I'll shout the brother out because he did shout me out in his video. So I would definitely recommend you check out his video. But his name is Prince something. He have a video that he did, and it shows different cult leaders and the things that they were doing. And you hear different testimonies from other men who talked about how they would see the cult leader come out of different women quarters, different women rooms while their husbands weren't around. So this is a common practice amongst cult leaders,
right?
Because they're so up here,
right,
the women worship them,
right,
and they end up leaving their husbands to get with these type of guys,
right?
So he been sleeping with Nellie, and then when he really got tired and said, you know what, you got to give him a divorce because we can't keep doing this. That's when he made a woman divorce her husband. There is no scripture in the Bible that says a woman can divorce her husband. None. Now in this video, you're going to see P. Diddy Dowell use the book of Mark, which is something I wanted him to do from the beginning. I was waiting for him to do this. I was literally sitting back waiting because, again, the Bible says out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established, not out of the mouth of one. You cannot take one scripture and run with it. Can't do that. You got to have 2 or 3 witnesses in order for every word to be established. There is no record in the entire Bible of a woman putting her husband away. There is no record in the Bible of a woman divorcing her husband. None. It's not in there. So in this particular video, you're going to see him try to imply that the Messiah
he was doing it from the last, but he was on 2 stream, but he didn't show in his video. But yeah, he was right. And did you know people like Warren Jeffries would do? Warren Jeffries had all the women, and he would sleep with younger girls. You got your David Koresh's, you have your Jim Jones, you have many other people like that, and that's what Ringo was saying, that it'd be a top guy. And it was also in the mother one on the black side, like the Yahweh cult and the Dr. York cult, and it was a few other ones out there that they were doing the same exact thing. That if they would sleep with women, they were going with the children. Yeah, and they just feel like they would justify the Bible. That's exactly what Dowell is doing. He's using the Bible. Now even he said it. Ringo said, got him convinced. Basically, at this point, out of his own mouth, he said he didn't edit the video. He didn't. He was playing it as it was coming. He actually said he haven't read the whole Bible. So, in other words, he been breaking commandments. He's trying to teach the commandments, and he's breaking the commandments. He's broke the false bear witness, false. I forgot what that one is. But spiritual coventry. Talebearing. It's a lot of stuff going on that they broke the scriptures. Adultery, fornication, drunkenness. And I mean, you could look at the 10 Commandments. If you're gonna be that Israel that you say you honor, you say you're a man of Yah, you're not even honoring what Yah is saying today. You're not. So, other words, then he will later on say that they trying to do what the law of Moses, and what she conceded with the Messiah, override the law of Moses about between about the divorce thing, about the marriage and divorce. They want to go back and do what Moses did, because he was saying how Moses, anytime something like he was saying, they would put women away, and they was but Jesus came in and brought a higher, who was the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, who was the Messiah, brought a higher standard that you just can't do this to the women. But these Israelite cults want to keep doing that, and that's what they practically is. They're trying to do it like the cult. They're not following the one, and then they try to take on certain customs, but they're not following the whole book. They're not following the commandments. So how is it that someone like Dowell can simply teach you something when he haven't read the whole book? So clearly, he wasn't called by the Most High God. So who validated him? It was another man, the one he put down, and that he would idolize with. And on this next video, I'm going to show you. So it was on him. So all you people out there following down and you contributing to him, that's on you. And if you believe what you believe in, you're going to join him right when it comes to the end of his life. It ain't going to be a pleasant place. And guess what? And I was thinking this today. Do you know, not only God don't have to say nothing, Satan, who's accuser of the brethren, already say, I already got him. Because you have an honor. You have broke every commandment. So you open up the door for Satan to come in and cause mischief and strife and violence. And the Most High God can put his hand back and say, yes, he broke my commandments. But but then again, he can show mercy, but in this case, the man that broke every commandment. So how is he's a teacher? See, what people don't understand, you break the commandments, you basically disrespect the word. The word was God, the word was God, the word is God. You broke all three commandments. So and then you try to do and play ignorant and sideswipe over and think that God's just gonna honor what the time of Moses. No. That's why in the New Testament overrides that. And some people try to go back to the Old Testament like Ringo say. No. When Messiah comes, when the real Messiah shows up, he's gonna put Dowell on trial. I'm telling you. This man have let thousands and probably thousands are going to go straight to hell because of him. Go to the lake of fire. I'm not kidding. If they practice that, they're gonna be in world trouble. Watch. Anybody who have a discernment, who have a relationship with the Most High God through His Son Yeshua, watch. They'll tell you he's in trouble. He just opened up the books on himself. He just allowed the enemy to just tear his king. He didn't build up so long, and God's gonna let the enemy take over. It's probably gonna happen anytime in the future. Watch, and it's gonna all fall back on him, and all the people are gonna suffer. That's in a straight way. Watch this.
We know it's Yahawashai, Yehoshua, Yeshua, and we mostly know as Jesus Christ. What I want to deal with today is I have put together a video. I think it's about 10 to 15 minutes of comparisons between Pastor Dowell Straightway, Jim Jones, the Latter-day Saints, the Mennonites. Their leader, one of their leaders, just was recently put in jail.
Following the 63-year-old cult leader's directions is difficult to tell.
It's crumbling and a lot of the people are starting to mainstream.
Roger Houle is a civil attorney who represents former members of the FLDS Church. He says loyalists of Jeff's have scattered to several states, including South Dakota and Texas.
Apparently, he has expressed that he is now married to some of his daughters, who are basically the ones communicating with him.
Those daughters may be relaying his messages to other followers. Before his arrest in 2006, and even in the years after, Jeff's ordered that families break up, assigning wives to different men, and even assigning children to different parents.
I estimate about 2,500 children are with neither of their parents. They're just being raised as children of the cult.
Even from behind bars, Jeff's still divides those who want to be loyal and those who want out.
Even those that purport to be following him may be doing so just until they can figure out how to strategically get out without losing their remaining family members.
And he's still controlling that community from jail. Also, Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Don't love me. If you don't love me, you are lying hypocrite. You are a snake. If you don't love me.
And to show the comparisons within these people, and especially far as the control aspect. What are they doing to control the people? I seen and shout out to and fair use. Shout out to Ringo, New Breed, brother Kelly Richardson. What's my brother name over there at Army of Israel? Maharaka. Because that brother, he went in about 8-9 years ago when it first happened. Pastor Kelly Richardson, We Woke Now. I think he got videos from 4 years ago, and I gleaned from a lot of these brothers' videos to put this collage together. Alright, and if you just want to get to the collage, get to the collage, but I want you to just give me a few minutes just to talk about the control, and then we're gonna let that video play, and I ain't gonna come back in. We just gonna let that thing play, but the control must be there. And I seen my brother New Breed. He was saying, well, he should have started him a community. I guess he had some kind of community he started. And when Pastor Dowell is saying, well, where your fruits at? And let me see your community. Let me show you, And these folks don't know what it takes to get these communities. They don't know what I go through to get these communities. And he has a point. He has a point. I'm going to tell you why. You have to control the people. If you're going to start a community, that's why you should do it. But if you're going to do it, it's a dictatorship. Alright, one person is there who is in control. This is not a democracy. You're not voted in and voted out. It's one person in control. One person must make sure everybody gets what they need, so forth. But the control must be there, and the control comes from what? Mostly fear. So this person needs to be feared. Whoever's going to be the dictator of that community, he needs to be feared. He needs to be feared. And if you're dealing with the Acts 2, Acts 5, dealing with all these people had everything in common and da-da-da-da-da. Then you see the story of Ananias and his wife, and him getting killed by the Holy Spirit on spot when he held back what he sold his house for from Peter. And one thing I haven't seen Dowell says, well, a lot of y'all ain't coming and talking about that part, but you don't talk about the part where it tells you, I think it's verse 12 or 13, where it says nobody else joined them. When they seen Ananias get killed, everybody else was like, oh, straight. They regarded them and reverenced them, also because of the miracles. Alright, and that's also another controlling aspect that a lot of cults use. Where if you know, even in the camps, you know, man, if you get out of this, man, you get out of the truth, you know, you're going to hell. You know, if you leave here, you're no longer in the truth, and God's gonna kill you, or you leave here, Babylon's finna fall, and all y'all gonna be destroyed. Oh, you see they running out of toilet paper. You know, and they use the scare tactics, the end of days tactics, like they're really truly prepared for that, and they're not. They're not, man. You know, you still going to the grocery store. How self-sufficient are you, bro? You are more self-sufficient than most, but you're still not self-sufficient enough for if this place goes down, you have enough resources to stay in control, because things are different when resources are limited and one has to choose, well, only his kids gonna eat this time. The dynamics change. I forget what that movie was. I think Barack Obama did it. I think it was a Netflix movie. Come Out of Her. I think it was something like that. Like Come Out of the World. And he had these rich neighbors, and one of the neighbors had a bunker, and he had it set up. Boom, boom, boom. You know, and you know, radio signal lines and all this stuff. You know, they were set up for it. And then you have had the other individual who it was his neighbor, and you know, they were cool the whole time, but once them resources got limited, you know, it was guns drawn. You know, the same people you going out there training could turn on you and throw you out because there is no law protecting you. See, the law is also protecting Pastor Dowell. That's why people, but when you go into a land of lawlessness, you may not have that control unless you are really have put some fear into these people. And you know, spiritually the Father does the same thing. How many times have they put that, you know, you see that in the text, man? Fear the Lord. Alright? Fear the Lord. I think we read that all the time in that Deuteronomy 10:12. Let me pull that real quick, because I don't want to mutilate it. It says, and now Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul. But that fear gotta come in. Even with them going into the wilderness. Alright, they're being stripped of everything. And man, leave out fast, or that Passover lamb. And you know, all praises for, you know, happy Passover for all those that are keeping Passover in this season. You know, pray you have a blessed Passover, a blessed, you know, unleavened bread. But anyway, when they was coming out for the, you know, for Passover, they was rushed out of there. Alright, they had to leave behind a lot of things, and they did come out with abundance, but part of the plan was for them to lean on the Father. So they end up melting. Their while Moses was up on the mountain, everybody took the gold and melted the gold into this idol. Now God seen them melting the gold into the idol the whole time, but he waited so they can get rid of those resources. He was going to provide the clothes. He was going to provide the food. He was going to provide the shelter. Alright, he was going to provide the rain. So they were going to be totally dependent on God, on the Father. Alright, and so, you know, these communities, they can say that you strip down, bring in everything, so that you're totally dependent on them, and that way there can be some control. Alright, they can start being some control there, because you don't have the resources to go out. You don't have the resources to leave. You done cut all your family off. You know, they left back all their friends and family. They had to totally rely on the Father. I think it's Deuteronomy. If you go to Deuteronomy 8, it says, I brought you into the wilderness to humble thee, to see. I suffered thee to hunger, to see would you keep my commandments or not. Would you be obedient? Would you be obedient? And so it was a training. It was a reprogramming. Right? And you can glean heavy from that. And I'm sure Pastor Dowell has also, in the Numbers 15, where the individual gets killed. The individual gets killed for gathering sticks. And then he tells you to put the fringes on your clothes. But everybody sees him. Everybody sees Miriam and her husband get punished for doubting Moses' leadership position. They see the mountaintop and they're scared. Well, let Moses talk for us. We don't even want to, And so they built up a fear. They built up a fear, and they built up a dependency. But even with all of that they seen in that wilderness, even with the great victories and so forth, those people that came out of Egypt, they had to die. And I think Pastor Dowell knows this also. So those first reign of people that come out of the world, those first reign of people that come to the community from out of Babylon or the American train of thought, he has to get rid of them. They're dangerous. They're part of the puzzle that can bring everything down. Those originals, those that come in. Now those that are programmed, that are there, and all that they know is the dependency of their father, who is Pastor Dowell. He can fully control. I can't say he can fully control them, but he has more control of them. And it was the same case with Egypt, with the Most High. He had more control of those that were born with that dependency. The other ones, they were still thinking about Egypt. It's still jokers there in Pastor Dowell's community, still thinking about Egypt. They sitting down and they're using the bathroom in a bucket. They think, man, that plumbing was nice. Man, I'm bringing in enough money now where I could have my own house. Now I don't have a mortgage, but can I stay here? And will I make it here? Has anybody made it here on this land for 30 years? Elder Rufus made it, 14, 15 before he got kicked out? Can anybody? And then after you kicked out, you don't have nothing. You can't sell the house. You don't have anything. But if you want to live in that type of community, that type of environment, the leader has to control the people, and the people are going to be controlled with fear and spiritual miracles, etc. Alright, and resources. Alright, you have to control them. And if you don't control them, anything that anybody does, it comes back to him. If somebody like that would happen with that Sports Illustrated thing, I don't think it happened on his on the main location. It happened outside, but it comes back on him. He's responsible for that. Alright, everything comes back on him. So if you're not an individual that's controlling, then you don't need to start no community. You're gonna get ran over. You're gonna get abused. Alright, I can even use myself personally. When we were starting our ministry, the Prince of Power, I was just passing out flyers. Long story short, we built up to about 12. I was like, hey man, it's 12 of us. Let's all just put in $100 a month. We can get us a place where people can, come and we can do services and so forth, so forth. Yeah, man. yeah, man, let's go and do that. You know, let's do it, man. And so I did it. You know, before I received $1, I went got a spot. Put down first month, last month. And then I told her, hey man, it's a spot here. But I checked with everybody. I was like, hey man, y'all think this okay? Yeah, that's good. And then, everybody came through, painted, took pictures. Yeah, man, we up, man. We about to have it. We got us a sanctuary. I didn't receive one payment. And I ended up paying for the school pretty much by myself. Then brothers would say, well, I'm going to teach on Wednesdays. I'm going to teach on Mondays. I'm going to teach on Friday. I said, oh, okay, but we got classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm putting it on the door. Now somebody has to be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:30. Nobody wanted to teach classes. So you have to control the people. Now me, I wasn't an individual to say, man, call somebody and be like, man, where you at, man? Man, you said you were going to be here at 7:30. Let the people down. Get your butt over here, man, and teach this class. My personality is, man, I'm just going to teach the class. And so now I'm working 2.5, 3 jobs and teaching Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it just don't work out. Alright? And so that was one of the lessons I learned. So I know, and that's, I know that we gonna go hard on this whole control thing. I get it on some of this stuff. And me being, us being a smaller organization, a lot of people who've come from larger organizations have been kicked out of larger organizations, or they left because of abuse and so forth. They come to these organizations and they said things like, people loving the ranking system. And I was like, well, I ain't gonna have no ranking system. We ain't got no rank. We all brothers. We all equal. That's my brother. I don't lord over my brothers. And you're not gonna get much done. And people want to be, I had just mentioned rank one time. Joe was like, well, what you got to do to be a sergeant? And you gotta know how to control people. You have to study it. You have to study it. Even a lot of these pastors driving these nice cars and so forth, it's to control the people. They may not even want to be there, but they know jokers ain't gonna listen to nobody that's broke. I gotta control them. And sometimes when you controlling sheep, sometimes you gotta break a sheep leg. I had a brother tell me that one time in the Passover, one of our brothers, and it was powerful. And I'm like, man, boy, you can't, but that was powerful. It was like, man, yeah, sometimes they'll take that shepherd's staff, and this is why, and sometimes when the sheep was just totally disobedient all the time, the shepherd would break the sheep leg, and then the sheep would have to stay in the middle of the pack and go where everybody else goes because it's injured. But and then it was, he was like, well, that's why the bones, you don't break the bones in the Passover lamb. You're not supposed to break the bones, anyway, because it's not a disobedient lamb. This is a pure lamb, unblemished. All right, so you should be whooping on it. But even in that, you have to, even those dogs, when you have those shepherd dogs that control those sheep, sometimes they gotta nip at it. Sometimes they gotta to get that sheep to come back in there. If you ain't got that, if you don't have that personality, if you don't have that zeal in you to do that, then that's why Pastor Dowell, well, show me, because he know you don't have that in you. And you don't need to be doing no community. And people don't have that reverence and respect for you. Can you hold that respect? Initially, we were younger. I was one of the oldest once, but once we got to school, man, it was 12 of us. It dropped down to about 5, 6 of us. you know, because people weren't willing to go that far. Like Joe, like, oh man, you really serious, man? I ain't really trying to do all of that. But I done rambled enough, y'all. I'm gonna let this video play. I'm sorry, y'all. I even rambled that long. But let's let this video play here. And I hope y'all enjoy this thing. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Make sure y'all like, sub, and subscribe. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
When I started looking, and I was looking for a virgin at that time. To be honest, I made it very known that I was looking for a virgin. I wanted to be with a virgin because I just thought that I could make this woman my own and create her to my own image. In our ministry, we know how about polygyny. Now everybody knows that my goal is to have 94 children. If you don't know that, now you know. It's this: how many people came to the wedding of your family? Zero. But listen, this. Zero's on her master. She's my property.
This week I was privileged to receive the marriage certificate of my daughter. And so when you read the stipulations of the diary or the marriage certificate, you come across a section that talks about the diary received for her. And it was, I think, 125 pieces of gold. And they specify cassette money, $6,000, as well as an SUV vehicle, which was stipulated in the marriage certificate. But prior to that, it actually emphasizes the parents of my daughter, and I wasn't in it for some reason. As I read it carefully, it actually said the daughter of Charles Dowell Jr.
What?
And Nelly Flores. And I'm like, when did that transition occur? Wow. I'm kind of like perplexed.
It was striking that Jim Jones insisted that his congregation be integrated, and he was attacked for it. You heard the message you wanted to hear. That was kind of what his talent was.
For good and evil both. He played both sides of the coin. Good to draw people in, and then evil to control. And then evil to control. And then evil to control.
His actual room.
I'm just like 19th child. I was pregnant with my 5th.
God told me that this 14-year-old is meant to be your 4th wife. Are you telling me you don't trust God?
They were the 2nd or the 3rd or the 50th wife.
When I was in it, I felt like I was happy.
The very famous pray and obey sign.
Well, if a man's kicked out of the community, they could have a multi-million-dollar business. That's gone. Their wives are gone. Their kids are gone. Their house is gone. Everything.
That's one of the leaders living in that beautiful home. They can just take your kids.
Your kids belong to God, not to you.
I look back now and think, I can't believe I lived in them.
He learned how to do faith healing by going to these revival tents as a boy. He loved the theatrics of it. And he was able to convince a lot of these unsavvy people that he had this godlike ability to heal them.
It's important that you receive. That's right. The Bible says if you receive a promise, reward, receive a righteous man, receive a righteous man reward. Isn't that right? It's important that you receive, so you can receive the reward. Hallelujah. Oh, Pastor Lawrence back there. Me and Elder Ruth was
willing, in order to establish this egalitarian, utopian Christian community, he was willing to not always be honest. Control became a huge issue for him. And he tried to control people in all sorts of bizarre ways.
To turn over their homes, turn over their bank accounts.
We had signed over power of attorneys.
Anyways, he would have these preachings in the dining hall where he would talk about a brother. Sometimes he wouldn't call him out, sometimes he would. He'd jump in your face and call you out and this and that. And it's there's no compassion, there's no love. It's beat you down, lose your voice. He controls everything you do, everything.
You didn't have any free time. Yahweh ben Yahweh exercised lots of control on life. He even regulated our sex life because he taught something called brothers class. He told the brothers the only time you should want to have sex with a woman is if you're trying to make a baby. Basically, he pitted sexes against one another. He teased us and said a lot of you all are nothing but chumps. So you held off, you put those emotions and feelings off because you wanted to prove to Yahweh and to prove to your wife that you weren't a chump. We go weeks and months without having sex. But I stayed a full-time member with the Yahweh because I believe it. I believe, everything was good. As I know now, Yahweh ben Yahweh was exploiting the whole sexual dynamic for his own gain because Yahweh ben Yahweh was having sex with single women and married women. In hindsight, I found out that he basically wanted my wife. Yahweh ben Yahweh was not the holy man he said he was. And no, when you're a member of a religious organization, a lot of times they don't pay you, but I know in Christian organizations, they do pay. But in our situation, you basically got your room and board for free. We got 1 meal a day, which was beans and rice. It was free. And when you needed stuff like toothpaste and, toiletries and, you just go ask there's a lady in charge and she makes sure you get what you need to live. But you dedicate your life to Yahweh. If you have a car, a bank account, anything of substance, you gave it to the church. You gave it to the religion.
Your family, what you get, how much money he gives you. Check this out. I had a family of four. Mind you. A month, we would get $100. Now mind you, we had to buy 4 meals with this because every Friday they didn't serve food in the dining hall. So you would have to supply 4 meals for yourself for the month. Any type of clothes, any products you need, anything like that came out of that money.
Door closed, cold wind blows. Down America like the wall of Jericho. Summer wolf, the sheep clothes. Many can fall through a chose. Who knows until the day they get exposed? UFOs surround the globe. The world is prepared to explode. So I grab hold.
So we see that this thing was like this before. Same book plan, same old plan. And my thing is, where is these men's discernment when it came to the Bible? Where is your relationship with the Most High God through His Son, Yeshua Mashiach? Where is the relationship? And it's sad that they will persecute the church, Christians, and really they're probably Christians have sense enough to know that some believers, I would say, but some believers will know that something's wrong with that picture. That God never intended for a man to take his leadership to that extreme, that start controlling other men. These people have master manipulate the Bible for their own self. That's all what it is. They master manipulate the Bible. And it was no Spirit of God, had no connection with them. you serving another man. Basically, you serving an idol that has no connection to the Most High God through His Son Yeshua, or Mashiach. You don't have, even with a lick of common sense, will tell you. And sometimes, even though God can come to your man, whoever is the person, but at the end of the day, when the Bible is closed and you have an everyday situation, don't God continually, the Most High God, continually to talk to you as an individual? Why do you have to feel like you need a mediator? And that's what these people have made Dowell and these other people, a mediator. And he would have gave you his mediator, and he would lead you to all truth, and not to be in such a way. So really, he violated his own word, and all these cults are heading to the lake of fire. They all go to the lake of fire. Thousands, and trying to follow thousands and thousands, and some people will worship them, and they only worship the actual Messiah. It's going to lead them straight to hell. That's what's sad about it. If they don't get out of it, like many of these other cults, they're going to be led straight to hell. If someone don't interfere, and maybe God don't come in and intercede and kind of wake them up and show that that's not the way He designed it. So I don't want to make this video too long, but yeah. Now you see, but shout out to Ringo and that guy's channel for pointing that out. And he didn't want this being exposed. So basically what Dowell did is brought a cult to YouTube. He brought his cult. And people, many people supporting him, you help building up a cult. You help building up a Jim Jones. You help building up the Ben Yahweh, a Warren Jeffries, a David Koresh, and you don't even think about it. And some people are building it up, and I see how the Most High God, like, He's not even in it. They have literally put a man as an idol. Let them take the scriptures and manipulate the scriptures. Basically, they have no power. All they're working up under is a reprobate spirit. Wow. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this be a lesson. So, watch in the future, watch who you put as an idol. It's alright to admire and respect a man or a woman of God, but don't make them as your idol. Don't worship them. And the same God that communicate with them is the same Most High God will communicate with you. One relationship with you. That's what He intended for it to be. That's why the Messiah was sent to the earth. Because men were taking it and putting themselves on and taking something, manipulating scriptures. And I believe that's why the Messiah came down. They had to erase all that and give men the actual kingdom of the truth, which the Father raised Him up for 33 years. Because they was getting generations after and continually get generations after wrong. That's why you need the Father's Spirit to lead you all truth. And even Yeshua says this: I will send the Comforter to lead you and guide you in all my ways. He will lead you to me. So you won't have to fall for stuff like this. If people, men and women, would use common sense, the holiness, you don't have to put on the garments. The holiness is when you receive the holiness that dwells in your soul. That's the holiness. And that's the Comforter that when you gave your life to the Yeshua, and went down in the baptism, got baptism as the water, baptism as the fire. That's what it was about. But these people is going back, disregard what the Messiah, and go back and the Most High God's not in the traditions of the once was with the time of Moses, and they try to go back and believe Moses. Oh man. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Get a relationship with the Most High God. Seek Him for yourself. Alright then, that's basically the message. You see what it led to, and you want to keep supporting Dowell and keep supporting this teaching, that's on you. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, be blessed. See you on this video. Till next time, it is what it is. Take care.